On your Wednesdays, Loose Women Live. It's Kay Adams, Denise Welsh, Sally Dinaber, and Janet Street Porter.
Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Loose Women. Coming up, would you go on a double date with your child's in-laws? Denise has done it. We're going to be discussing the importance of all in-law relationships at 1 o'clock, and we're talking about the new must-see shocking documentary a little bit later.
What if I were to tell you that there is a man alive today who may have fathered over 1,000 children? What kind of man would do that?
I always wanted to be a mom.
Yep, it follows the case of a man who donated sperm to hundreds of couples who were desperate for a baby. So we're going to be debating the lengths that people go to start a family and asking if you would be happy for your partner to help someone in the same way. And he has sung for popes, presidents and royalty. Today he is singing for us. Andrea Bocelli joins us with his daughter Virginia, and she is following in her father's musical footsteps. Now, got to start the show by welcoming anyone tuning in while they're working from home. Hello, you're welcome. Apparently, we are the top choice for 4 in 5 workers who say that they turn on the telly while they're working from the front rooms. We love it. It's not just me saying that now.
People working from home watch an average of 2 hours a day while they're working.
Really interesting.
And one of the most popular shows, Loose Women. Bring it on! Bring it on!
Yeah.
I love that.
Very good show.
Get in! I love it. What? Nothing wrong with that, is there, Sally?
No, not at all. I mean, I couldn't learn lines watching the telly, that's for sure. But I do love putting the telly on and doing my ironing, multitasking. It's great.
I know.
Yeah.
Do you like doing it when you're ironing, Janet?
I don't iron. I don't iron. I tried out one of those new ironing machines where you post things through, but they cost a fortune. Well, you just put it in and it flops out the other side.
I didn't see that. I mean, I just think we're so used to having so many devices these days. I mean, you watch television, you've got your phone, you're doing something else.
Oh, no,
So-
I don't. I could not have a television on while I was at home working.
No?
Because I want silence, or I want classical music that I don't know where it's coming from. It hasn't got an irritating British presenter. So what I've got is I've got an app. This is the top tip. I've got an app on my phone that lets you choose classical music stations from all around the world. So my favourite is Helsinki, because occasionally they say something and it's and you think, oh, that's fine, that's OK, and you just get on with the next piece of music.
The look of bewilderment on your face, Denise.
How do you discover that you like Radio Helsinki?
I just do, and I also like a classical music station in Belgium called Clara, which is classic too.
But Denise, this is good news. People watching us when they're working from home.
No, I mean, it's very flattering, but I could never work from home. I would be fired in the first week, because if Lincoln and I have ever tried to do something from home, it's not Loose Women, I have to say, but we will find a true crime that's on somewhere and say, let's just watch one, and 7 hours later we're still binge watching it. So I would literally be fired, because I tend to have the television on all the time if I'm in the house, much more than music.
So do you
Oh,
think...
no, I like to
distracting.
save my television for the evening, and it's really exciting.
I do.
And for me now, at the moment, it's really, really difficult because Wimbledon's on, and you put it on, and it's so hard to turn it off again.
I know.
I could never work from home.
Well, a lot of
single
people
time.
say they watch Loose Women on catch-up, actually, when they get home at night. But do you think, should employers sack people who... Thank you. who are watching telly when they're supposed to be officially working from home?
Yeah, I would.
Would you?
Yeah,
I would.
I'd have cameras on top of their television watching them.
I would.
you?
I think that's why we've got Broken Britain. There's too many people watching Loose Women.
No way. No.
I'll take all the
Absolutely
viewers
not.
I can get.
Very talented people. They're multitasking, and you're more than welcome to watch us while you're doing your work. Anyway, Loose Women's great because it's lunchtime. It's time for a wee break.
No,
Sit
it's
down,
fine to
have a cup
little,
of tea and a wee sandwich.
Yeah, it is fine to have a little break.
Now, dib, 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 dob, dob, dob. I'm not talking gibberish for once. It is, of course, the old scouting motto of do your best and do our best. Apparently, more youngsters will be saying it soon because the waiting list to join the Scout Association has hit a record high, with parents keen for little ones to socialise more, while teenagers want to improve certain skill sets. So, Janet, have you ever worn a woggle?
I was a brownie. I'm a huge fan of being a brownie, being a guide and being a scout. I notice we're focusing on scouts here because scouts now admit girls into scouting. But back in my day, you had to be a brownie and then a guide. And I just loved it. I loved learning all this. I loved everything about it. Basically, I wanted to be in charge.
Surprise, surprise.
What was it, Brownell? Was it Brownell that was in charge?
Brownell,
Yes, our
yeah.
Kayla was the Cubs, in charge of the Cubs. Yeah.
Right, OK.
But where I grew
knows
up in Fulham, it was a big thing to join the Brownies. I think you learn lots of skills. You have to get on with people you don't know normally, you might not go to school with, who don't live in your street. So it just increases your social circle, and there's lots of good things about it.
Yeah, I just thought it was so domestic. All these badges. It was how to make a bed. It was how to
I did
cook something. How to
marry.
I liked all
sew
those
something.
things.
Did you? I hated all that
because
stuff.
I'm not massively outdoorsy, so it made me do outdoorsy things, which I like. So now that they allow girls in scouting, why would girls choose that over guides, do you think?
Well, because it's mixed, I suppose, because there's boys and girls in scouting. So you would like that, wouldn't you?
Definitely.
And they've changed all the badges.
God knows what badge I would have got.
Well, let's just think about that. What badge would you get in the Scouts, Denise?
I got well, in the scouts, in the guides, I got sewing badge, which we both
Did you?
which
I
we
never
both
got that.
Yeah. And for some reason, I got swimming badge, and I can't even swim more than a width, so it must have just been that, and I got swimming badge. And then I left because there was no boys.
What badge did you get?
I got home help and cookery. I think I got a cookery one, but I think I did the map reading one as well.
Did you?
But I
Sewing?
loved getting a badge.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved sewing it
How
on.
many did you get?
I got quite a few, actually, when I was
got
little.
one.
I got 8.
You got
Did
8?
you?
Sorry.
8.
She's
I
competitive even now about the
Yeah, I was
brownie.
competitive
Do they
at
still?
8.
Do they still do the badges the same?
Well, no, they're different because in the guides, so the current guide badges, we've now got entrepreneur, we've got conscious consumer.
What?
Yes, and we have got digital design. And if you choose to join the Scouts, you could be geocaching. Yep. Do you fancy that?
Geocaching, what does that even mean?
Digital maker, media relations and this sounds like a job, doesn't it? Yeah, and a photographer, so it's all changed. It used to be farming, craft, camping, emergency, first aid. I got my first aid badge. I did get my first aid badge.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
first aid.
I did
Oh,
get
yes.
that. Yeah. What would you get now, then? If we were now in some superannuated scouting thing, what badge would you get?
I'd still get home help because I think I was a maid in my previous life.
So you'd get scrubber.
I'd get scrubber and dog walker.
Dog walker. I would get that too. What about you, Janet?
Boss. In charge.
Come on, Denzi, you've got
American
a
reality television watcher.
I don't think they have that. I don't think they have that. I would also get sleeper. I am a very good sleeper, but that's a bit desperate, isn't it? Still to come, we are talking friendly in-laws and the sperm donation story that has shocked the world. They're not linked, don't worry. But coming up next, it's election eve. We have got our final pre-election interview today. We are meeting SNP Westminster leader Stephen Flynn. They want better public services, more paternity leave, but how are they going to pay for it? We're going to be hearing all about his party's plans next. Welcome back. Still to come, classical music sensation Andrea Bocelli treats us to a special performance. Yeah, that's at 1:15 with his protege, his 12-year-old daughter, Virginia. And we've talked before about the importance of getting on with your in-laws, but have you considered your kids' in-laws and whether you should strike up a friendship with them? Mother of the groom, Denise, has some sage advice for us on that one. Sage advice, that'll be a first. Here we go.
I'm trying to think what the sage advice is, but never mind, crack on.
Now, we are just hours away from the general election, and today, in the last of our series of pre-election interviews with the main party leaders, we're talking to the Scottish National Party's Westminster leader. So please welcome Stephen Flynn. Woo! Stephen, it's been a long old 6 weeks, less than 48 hours before we know who will make the new Westminster government. But just think, on a personal level, is it nerve-wracking? Because if you lose your seat, you lose your job. And you know, yours is pretty tight. Mm-hmm. You know, do you feel, oh, my goodness, this could be the end of an era?
I don't know if the end of an era is quite right for someone who's 35, but I guess you try not to think about it too much. You focus upon just doing your job, making sure you've got your message out to the public, that you're going to meet as many members of the public as possible, coming on great shows like this to try and spread the good word of the party, and hopefully that's enough to get you over the line. You can't be too confident because you never know what the public are going to do. But if you've got confidence in your message, that's the most that you can take. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're a young guy with a young family. It's your job.
Yeah, indeed. And like everyone else, I've got a mortgage to pay. I've got nursery fees to pay. That's still going to be the case at the end of this week, irrespective of what happens. But, you know, it's a big decision for the public. Who do they want to represent them? Who are they going to give that privilege to? We obviously try to encourage them to vote for us in the best way possible. And you've just got to have confidence in what it is that you believe in.
Now, you're on our show today, and I'm absolutely fascinated by your appearance. Being an ex-fashion editor myself, I've already clocked you're wearing Adidas. You're not tainted by the Rishi.
Other trainers are available.
Yes, but other trainers are available, but it seems only one kind are favoured by politicians at the moment. And you've got your skinny black jeans on and your very, very form-fitting shirt.
Cool and trendy.
Cool and trendy.
Where's this going?
Well, I noticed when you were on this morning, you had a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
So is your brand all about connecting with people sitting at home, showing I'm more like you than someone in a suit?
So firstly, these trainers, I actually got them out of Sports Direct for about 30 quid because I forgot to...
Oh, darling, I'm not pricing your wardrobe. I'm just commenting on the fact you've gone to a lot of trouble.
I've not gone to any trouble, that's the thing. This is just what...
But you're matching!
But this is just what I would normally wear. My gran would be mortified.
Would you wear this in the House of Commons?
No, of course I wouldn't.
No.
If there's a formal setting, of course you dress formally and put your suit on. And I was saying my gran would be mortified. Sadly, she's no longer with us. But when I was younger, she was always of the view that you need to look your best all the time. So I'd be getting ready to go and play football, and I did have hair at that point, and she would always comb it over, even though she knew I was going to play football. But I just feel comfortable dressed normally, and that's
OK, because politics now is a lot about personality over policies. I mean, personalities have become as you know, the public are obsessed with politicians' personalities as they are with what they're offering in their manifestos. And it seems to me the SNP has gone through a very torrid few years. You've lost one leader, you've got another, then you lost another leader, and then you're on your third leader. What are your own ambitions? Are you hoping to take the same, you know, the last person that sat in that chair from your party was Nicola Sturgeon, so...
I guess for me, my ambitions kind of start and stop on Thursday night as it stands, because I want to be re-elected, and I want to then work with my colleagues up in Holyrood to try and make sure that when we go into the 2026 election in Scotland, that we're able to fight the best battle that we can. We do have John Swinney in charge now. John's a fantastic guy, very humble, but also very serious when it comes to the biggest issues of the day.
It is second time around, though, Stephen. I mean, you are, by a lot, seen as the next hope, aren't you? I mean, do you see yourself as the leader of the SNP at some point?
Oh, that's obviously applying a lot of pressure, the next...
I know. Oh, no, don't be modest. Please, don't be modest.
I think, in general, politicians always want to aim for the highest place that they possibly can, but it's not something I give a huge amount of consideration to.
I think that's a yes.
Nah, we've got...
2 young sons. haven't
Yes,
you?
so I've got young kids, and that's always in the back of my mind with these things. Yeah, for sure.
And you were elected after they were born. How do you juggle travelling down to London?
Yes, so my eldest son was born 3 days after the general election in 2019, so you can imagine the delight in my wife's face when I told her I was going to be putting myself forward. And obviously my second son's 2 years old, and it puts a huge amount of pressure on us, massive pressure upon us as a family. And honestly, I wouldn't get by without my wife's help and the help of her parents and my parents who travel up to provide a little bit of extra childcare when we need it.
So you must be away from home, what, 4 days a week?
Yeah, so it varies, but usually at least 3 nights a week. And, you know, my wife makes huge sacrifices in her life in order to make sure that the boys are able to get to everything that they need to be at. And then obviously I come home and try not to be Disney dad who wants to go and take them to all the fun things, and she's got to be the good cop and the bad cop, as opposed to me just trying to be the good cop. So it's a huge amount of pressure upon any family. It's particularly so for us up in Scotland because we've got such a long distance to travel to get here. But we try and manage it the best we can. I don't think we've quite managed to nail it, but we're doing our best.
To take it, which is unlike me, to swerve it back to politics, but as someone who admittedly doesn't know a lot about Scottish independence or people who desire that. So something that really interests me as a layperson is if you, which we know that you do in the SNP, would like a return to the EU, even in the state it's in, where it is moving to the right in so many countries, why would you want to rejoin the EU but not be part of the United Kingdom?
So I, on a very basic level, just genuinely believe that people in Scotland have the ability to make their own decisions, that we have the industry and the ingenuity to decide our own future and determine our own path.
But
like
would the
every other
EU
nation.
not be influencing that?
No, but I think we could be, when you're within the European Union, you're obviously there as a partner. You're there working in tandem with others. I would like to see a situation where all the UK nations were back in the EU. I think it would be beneficial. I think
Even with the move to the far right in Italy, France, you know...
But what you do when there's a move to the far right is you don't run away from it, you challenge it, and you take it head on, and you say, these are my values.
Italy, France, Hungary.
Yeah, you do. You say
Netherlands.
You say these are my
challenge.
You say these are my views, these are my values. I think that migration's a good thing. I think it adds a lot to our public sector. Our NHS wouldn't survive without the migrants who work within it. I think we should, when we're facing up to these big challenges and the rise of the right wing and potentially fascism in some respects in certain places, you need to have the
It's just whether it
confidence
would be the same
to take it
EU
on.
that we left in 2016
Yes,
or whether or not it
yeah.
would be a very different process. What were you going to ask, Janet?
Your manifesto is only 32 pages long, and reading through it, you're promising a lot of things that a lot of people wouldn't disagree with. We all want to give the NHS more money. I think the point of difference is how you pay for it. You'd like to see NHS pay increased by £6 billion. You'd like to give £1 billion just to NHS Scotland. You'd like to increase maternity pay and the pay for shared parental leave, all that, and protect pensioners, triple lock. None of that would... I think that's all very laudable.
Yeah.
It's how you pay for it. Now, is it true that you believe that anyone whose salary is over £28,000 a year should be paying more income tax? Because that's a big point of difference, because neither Labour nor the Tories have promised that. And the average wage, even in Scotland, is 30,000, and in the rest of the UK, the UK as a whole, rather, is 34,000. So that means that most working people would be paying a lot more if you were in charge.
Not a lot more, a tiny amount more. So in Scotland, if you earn over £28,000, you pay a tiny little amount more. So it's the differential between 28,000 and up to 60,000 is huge. You're basically talking a couple of quid a week for someone.
But would you raise it up?
So that's essentially progressive taxation. And what that means is that in Scotland, you get your free prescriptions, you get free university care. We have a Scottish child payment that's lifting 100,000 kids.
But do you think that
poverty.
everybody in the United Kingdom should be paying more income tax?
I do believe that in order to fund the public services that we have, the NHS isn't going to get better by cutting it. You need to invest in it, and the only way to invest in it is to raise taxes. But what you should also be doing is looking to rejoin the European single market. We've lost £40 billion of tax from that, yeah.
Right, I've got to ask you one question about football.
OK.
Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, I've got to. You're a member of the Tartan Army.
I am.
Are you going to root for England on Saturday? Yes or no? Come on, Stephen.
So I don't think politicians are honest enough all the time. So no, I'm not going to root for England.
I'm half Welsh, but I will manage to root for England.
Yeah, no, I can't bring myself as a big Scotland fan to do that. I'm afraid. I think
You wouldn't vote for it. You wouldn't support Wales if they were getting through.
No, I wouldn't.
You're hardcore, I have to say.
I went to see Scotland versus Wales in Cardiff, and Gareth Bale broke my heart. So I've got.
Yeah, sure. If they're
memories of
against
that,
each other, but maybe if they're against somebody else.
All right.
Listen, Stephen, thank you very much indeed. We did invite Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer on for an interview as part of this series, but he was not available. Just to say that Labour said our plan for Britain is a fully costed, fully funded, credible plan to turn the country around after 14 years of Conservatives. Next, the shocking story of the man who donated sperm to hundreds of strangers on the internet. How's that for a handbrake turn, Stephen? But how would you feel if a partner or friend wanted to do the same to help a desperate couple have a baby? We've got some strong opinions right after this.
Tomorrow, actor, producer, director, Hollywood star and desperate housewife Eva Longoria Baston joins us for a daytime exclusive interview talking about swapping suburbia for Spain and whether she'll ever see a return to Wisteria Lane. Eva Longoria Baston, tomorrow on Loose Women.
Really looking forward to that. Eva Longoria Baston tomorrow. But back to today, and there is nothing desperate about this lot. Is that true? With you for the next half hour, it's Sally Dinaver, Janet Street Porter, Denise Welsh and me, Kay Adams. Still to come, classical music legend Andrea Bocelli joins us for a chat and special performance alongside his daughter, Virginia. Yep, there's some good genes in that family. And in a moment, the story of the man with 1,000 kids that shocked the world. But it is competition time, and we could have your summer sorted. Yes, one lucky person out there could be in with a chance of winning £80,000 and a holiday home. Jake has all you need to know.
Hello from Waxham Sands Holiday Park, where I'm spending some time with the family. Say hi.
Hi.
And I've got a massive two-part prize for one lucky winner. Prize number one is this. That's right, we're giving away this very holiday home. Sited at Lovett Park, Seaview Park in Norfolk. It comes with its own fitted kitchen, private decking area, garden furniture, and it sleeps up to 6 people. It's massive in there. But not only that, we're throwing in a whopping £80,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. So this immense prize package is worth over £160,000. So, what are you waiting for? Pick up the phone, go to the website. It takes seconds to enter. Get it in. For your chance to win, text WIN to 62525. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 2525. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to BK27 PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 2 p.m. on Friday, the 2nd of August. Good luck.
Now, Denise, you spoke a couple of weeks ago about your son Matty's engagement to his fiancée Gabby. Very exciting, of course. And you've been doing some pre-wedding schmoozing, haven't you, with the in-laws?
Well, it's because we went over to LA to see Matty and Gabby and celebrate the engagement. And Gabby is so busy modelling and she's very hot right now, which is fabulous, so she couldn't join us. So we went up to see her mum and dad, who we had met once before, Chayo and Gary, and we absolutely adore them. And that is...
That's you doing that laugh again,
That's me doing
it?
hysterical joke. That's what I do in every single photo. 1, 2, 3, hysterical joke. So they thought I was completely bonkers, but no, they're lovely, and it's very, very important to me. I know it isn't to everybody, but it is much nicer for me if everybody gets on. I tend to sometimes put a lot of pressure on family members to get get on, you know. But it was important for my dad. Sadly, my mum had died before I met Lincoln, but we would go on holiday with my dad and Jenny, my mum-in-law. We'd take them on holiday and we'd get them to do really stupid things to put on Instagram, and then they'd pretend they didn't like it. Then in the morning they'd be going, "How many likes did you get?" and I'm very close to Jenny. So to me, I'm not saying it would be a deal breaker, but I just think it makes it better for the whole family. If you don't have to be in each other's pockets,
yeah.
But it's just nice if you can get on, and you know, I'm very, very happy with who will.
Was it important
have as
to
a
you,
family.
Janet?
All my mother-in-laws hated me. Actually, the first time I got married, I'd already run away from home. I'd broken off my engagement and I was living with my boyfriend, and I rang my mother up, and who wasn't speaking to me, and I went, "Don't put the phone down, I'm getting married in 2 weeks. And I'd like you to meet the in-laws." And so she said, "Who are you marrying?" And I said, "Tim Street Porter," and she realised a double-barrelled name was involved. She went from furious to quite amenable in one sentence. And we, they met in a restaurant in South London, literally a week before we got married. And then on the day itself, the relatives and the two sets of relatives had lunch, and I don't think they ever met again.
I mean, I suppose it's one thing is if you're in-laws, but if it is your, like, with Matty, it's like your child's in-laws. So it's just quite distant. I mean, personally, I don't think it matters. I think if you get on, that's fine. If you don't, I wouldn't see it as a big deal, would you?
Oh, I kind of would. I really want to get on with them.
Yeah.
I've just met Sam's girlfriend's parents at the weekend, and they were lovely. And, yeah, it was really important to me. And actually, my husband's mum introduced us. So that was quite good.
Yes,
I got on really well
that, yes.
with the mum and Tim's mum and dad. And, yeah, and they put us together. So that's quite
Kay
good.
and I were incredulous at the...
Yeah.
The idea of my mother choosing any partner. It started when I was
Well, it would have been
at school.
a full-time job, let's be honest, Janet.
Now, a shocking new documentary, this was released today, actually. It's made headlines already across the globe. It is called The Man with 1,000 Kids. It takes a look at the case of Jonathan Meyer, who is a Dutch man who claimed that he wanted to help a small number of women have children via sperm donation. What happened next stunned the world.
What if I were to tell you that there is a man alive today who may have fathered over 1,000 children? What kind of man would do that?
I always wanted to be a mom.
We wanted to have a family together.
A sperm donor is making up 50% of your child.
I got to know him on the internet.
We really hope that our kids have his hair.
We were totally sold. I'm ready to have beautiful babies.
9 months later, I had a baby boy.
But that wonderment was totally ripped from us.
I mean, I'm desperate to see this documentary. I haven't seen it yet because I'm still not quite sure what people are upset about. Because I suppose if you are comfortable with the idea of sperm donation, then does it matter how many people that the person donates sperm to? Would it matter?
Isn't it dangerous, though? If, he's fathering over 1,000 children, it could be quite
It depended
dangerous.
how geographically they're spread out and whether they're likely to meet, because there have been stories over the last few years of people tracing siblings that, and they are related through a sperm donor who was anonymous but then broke cover.
Right. My cousin was head of IVF at a big hospital, and obviously, he was around when sperm donation was 15 quid a pop or whatever you say, and it was what I don't know what to say. It's what students used to do to supplement their income, but it was controlled. So I called him this morning, and he said it was one donation was allowed to father 10 families,
right?
And they didn't think that with that there was a great chance of what they call unwitting sibling rivalry. But when you are spreading yourself that wide. I don't really know what the terminology is.
Everything you say is going to be...
I know, it's going to be the double entendre. Denise disgusts viewers with... So yes,
Yeah, well, obviously
but
with
it's
the
too
online...
many. And he's doing it. He's doing it online, and he's doing it sort of. I don't know whether illegally is the way.
It seems that he, you know, reading through the notes about him, he says a Dutch court ordered him to stop donating semen to clinics or face being fined €100,000. So,
yeah,
you know, they have attempted to stop it. But if someone is going to offer their sperm through online or whatever, it's very unregulated.
It is, and I can see why you would want to try and control it. With the internet, I think it's impossible to try and control it. But the other side of it is there is a huge market for it because there are a lot of people who, you know, do want sperm donation in order for them to have a family.
It's been hugely limited by the change in the law because you know you used to be able to give and not to donate anonymously and could never be traced, and then they changed that. So now that's made it very difficult to get a hold of any.
And I can see that because, I mean, if you look at it from the point of view of the child, you know, we know that a lot of people do have a desire to trace their biological parents, whilst they might be blissfully happy within their new family or their real family, whatever you call it, that they do have that need. So I see why they introduced that. It's difficult to put yourself in that place, isn't it, as to... I was never in the position that I had to consider that, and so it's not kind of gone through my mind. But do you think, Denise, if you weren't able to have a child by natural means or whatever, you would consider it?
I certainly would have. I mean, you know, like yourself, I've been lucky enough to conceive, you know, with a partner who I was in a very invested relationship at the time. But my desire, my biological desire to have a baby was so huge. Had I been, I would have been nervous on my own, so I don't know, but I definitely would have considered sperm donation, maybe adoption, maybe even surrogacy. I don't know. I just think that would have been overwhelming for me. And I wouldn't have probably considered the future as much as maybe I should have. But then again, that was back in the day when if you did use sperm donation, they couldn't trace.
Yeah.
I think that since same-sex partnerships were legalised, first through civil partnerships and then through marriage, that has led to an increase in the demand for surrogacy and sperm donation.
And egg donation?
And egg donation. So what will happen, we don't really know yet, whether the children from this new you know, this new generation, whether they are going to want to trace both parents, because their pair of dads or pair of mums would consider themselves the parents, and it's going to be an interesting thing that plays out in the years to come.
Yeah.
Because I think those children, sorry to interrupt you, Kay, but I do think that children, no matter how they're conceived in those relationships, are as valued and wanted and cherished as children brought into this world any other way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But as you say, it's interesting that generation probably has not come to adulthood. But I do remember seeing a young guy who had been the product of a sperm donation before they had to declare themselves. So he would never find out who his father was. And he said, well, you know, couples have this biological need to have a child. But what about my biological need to know where I came from? And he would never find out where he came from. And he clearly thought that was a huge kind of gap in his life. Now, not everyone might feel that way, but for him, it was a really kind of, a really sort of driving urge. Anyway, I will be watching that documentary with a huge amount of interest. But that's clearly some kind of God complex if you want to do that when you know that you're not supposed to for 1,000. Anyway. Now, he's got one of the most recognisable voices in the world. It's a talent he's clearly passed down. We're going to be talking to classical music legend Andrea Bocelli and his daughter Virginia. And, of course, they'll be singing for us, too. See you after the break. Welcome back. He is one of the most successful classical artists of all time and has sung for popes, presidents and royalty. And it seems it's a talent that runs in the family. Today, we're lucky enough to hear Andrea Bocelli and his daughter Virginia sing for us. But first, we're going to have a chat. Welcome, Andrea and Virginia. Well, Virginia, I believe you are the linguist in the family. You're equally happy in Italian and English, is that right?
I'm bilingual. I'm the translator.
So when did you and your dad start performing together?
I think the first time was when I was 8 years old in Parma. And it was because, so I didn't have to perform, but it was like a special for COVID, and you know, Teatro di Parma, it's like a small theater, but it's really pretty. And I wasn't supposed to sing. I don't even remember how it happened, but I sang, and that was my first time. And it was empty, so the theater was empty, and me and my dad sang Hallelujah. I was about 8 or 9, so that's like 4 years ago. Wow.
The problem is that I know why.
Time flies.
Because I had to sing Hallelujah, and Hallelujah is a long song with many English words. For me, it was impossible to remember everything, so I asked Virginia to learn this song and to sing it with me.
Andrea, you must be very proud of her. Do you get nervous for her? Because I know as a mum, if your child is performing, you often get nervous. Obviously, you know, you have no need to be, but do you do?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes.
No, I'm tranquil because she's very diligent. She studies, and usually she sings quite well.
Thank you.
You have such a beautiful relationship. It really comes across when you're singing together. Yes. She's the family's sunshine, you said in an interview.
Absolutely.
And that comes across. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about the song you're going to sing today.
So it talks about a dad that, you know, is talking to his daughter and talks about life and about love, and like, it's really emotional. I got really emotional when I was recording it, and it took a long time to record just this one little part that I was singing because I started crying, I started bawling. It was really embarrassing because like everyone in the studio, and it was just me bawling, crying. I was hiding myself behind the microphone, and then my dad noticed, and he told everyone, and he made fun of me.
Well, that is a good father-daughter relationship, isn't it? But, I mean, you're playing at Hyde Park this Friday. That is a huge event. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I think he is, too.
Yeah, the day after tomorrow, there will be this great concert in Hyde Park. It was a dream for me, and dream come true sometime. After Central Park that I did in the 2011, now finally also here in London. And I look forward. And then, and then I will have 3 concerts in my country village, in Laiatico, 15, 17, and 19 July, with many great colleagues. There will be Ed Sheeran and Placido Domingo and many. Well, that's Jean-Baptiste, yeah, many.
An incredible lineup, and I hope it will include Virginia Bocelli.
To remember me, to remember me that I have 30 years of career. I'm old.
Oh, well, your voice doesn't sound like it, that is for sure. It's lovely to have you with us here. And, of course, Andrea Virginia will be performing for us in just a few minutes after a competition. It's 2 prizes for the price of 1 entry. Jake has the details.
Hello from the beautiful Norfolk coast, and I've got the best summer prize just for you. Should we go dig? Yeah. Come on then, let's go build some sandcastles. It all kicks off with £80,000 in tax-free cash. Just imagine what you could do with that mammoth amount of cash. I'll tell you what you won't need, and that's a brand new holiday home, because we've got that covered. Yes, prize number 2 is a Lovett Park holiday home, sited at their coastal park in Norfolk. It comes fully furnished, with a fully fitted kitchen, its own private decking, and sleeps up to 6 people.
Well, having your own holiday home is fantastic because it just enables the family to get away for a day, a weekend, a week at a moment's notice, fully equipped and in a lovely area of the North Norfolk coast.
Remember, that's your very own holiday home that you can have fun with all the family, plus £80,000 in tax-free cash. So, what are you waiting for? Get your entries in now. Should we go? Let's go! Whee! For your chance to win, text WIN to 62525. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 78 2525. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to BK27 PO Box 7558, Derby DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 2 p.m. on Friday, the 2nd of August. Good luck.
Well, that's almost it for today. Two fabulous guests tomorrow are Eva Longoria Baston and Miriam Margolyes. But now, singing us out with Bambino Mia, it's Andrea and Virginia Bocelli.
Bambina, vieni qui e ascoltami,
Papo, son qui.
che della vita tutto hai da scoprire tu.
È vero, ma
Vorrei provare a descriverti l'amore. Se tu non lo conosci, poi ne soffrirai. Le scelte si faranno più difficili
davvero
e l'ultima parola dovrai dirla tu.
sarai con me.
Puoi farti prendere dal primo amore che ti capita ed io non avrò modo di impedirtelo. Ricordati, non sto parlando al vento, lo dico per te. Ricordati, sei sempre un po' di me, la vita che ti ho dato non la sprecare mai.
Non lo farò, ma tu fra le tue forti braccia stringimi ancora un po'.
Io cerco di inventarmi quello che non so,
ma io sarò
ti sei fatta grande, mi spaventa un po'.
sempre con te.
Corri se vuoi, ma ricordati semmai che potrai trovarmi qui quando vorrai. Ricordati, queste mie parole sono per te. Ricordati, da sola scoprirai che la vita è questa, sai, in fondo è soltanto un attimo, vedrai,
Join us as we bring you all the action from the 5th stage of the Tour de France. That's live today from 2 on ITV4. We are back in the villa for all the latest and more, including all the drama. All new Love Islands tonight at 9 on ITV2. Next year, it's the lunchtime news.